K23 took the upset victory on Ancient, and as we head to their map pick of Anubis, HEET have never played an official on it. K23 have never played an official on it. I've never casted it. It's first times for everybody as we head into the action. K23 starting on the CT side as HEET on CT looking for a little bit of aggression through the canals to open things up. Maka and Razmo peeking through E-Box initially. And well, Maka wants a little bit more than that. Already pushed all the way up to the mid window, able to find a free headshot on Eurasian. And in the opening moments, it's the CT side who find themselves with the man advantage.
Yeah, the team we weren't sure about are the ones at least showing some initiative in the initial moments, which is always good to see. It's actually my second Anubis. I got to do one for the opening game of the Asia Pacific region. It was wild to say. Maka, he gets punished on his counter aggression, or his second attempt at aggression, rather, over towards A long, and well, that may have been a bit of a misplay now towards B long. Mid now as well, where we're finding some more action from Razmo. I'm not too sure why they've decided to start playing some of these individual ones to get and splitting up at this. Two of them are getting towards B, as you can see, trying to deal with Lucky coming down from under. It was the dual Berettas. One kill and a dink was what was found. It doesn't deny the bomb plant, but it leaves him alone on the bomb site. I was going to say on the brink of death, but he's making it work. X5 still somehow standing, loses his teammate. And with no support system, there's just not much to be done. Exercise with 2 precise headshots. Confirms that defuse, of course. A bit of a back and forth pistol round, all things considered, though. I didn't know really what to expect coming into this from HEET.
A lot of aggression from HEET, a lot of proactivity on the pushes. Some of it successful, some of it not. I think that's sort of what you can expect from a new map, right? They're going to try things. They're going to see what lands, see what doesn't. Just looking at the old stats, and it is a little T-sided at the moment, Anubis. So we'll have to see if it continues to play out that way in this one, as of course with the bomb going down, K23 will be forcing it out. Able to get a solid buy, sacrificing util for the firepower though, as it's aggression down mid, and this time out of the window, Maka looking to take the fight, and it's Exercise in fact who finds the opening. Jo trying to help his teammates down in the canals has instead met his demise. And again, that early man advantage is there for HEET, and they're going to keep re-aggressing on it as well. Slightly wayward smoke in towards middle, but nothing of too much concern. And as Razmo hides himself deep back plat, this is a nice opening setup again. They're going to bait them into this crossfire, the CT side, and if Maka can find a freebie, Razmo will then swing for more, and here it is. Not quite able to find the second kill, but he's alive and kicking, and that's perhaps the more important thing in a 3-on-5. As again, it's a splintered offensive from K23, just probing all portions of the map simultaneously. HEET able to drag at least one back and keep it as an even 2-2 split for the CT side. But there's no util to get into this site anymore. Maka, with a player up in heaven behind him, has got free reign on these fights and just gets both the kills, free as you like. Magnajez left to try and salvage what he can, but the footsteps will surely be heard as he tries to make his way into the connector, and it's cleanly put down by HEET.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I presume we're calling that area their connector. I was thinking about it as we saw him running in. I may have casted one, but it was also the first game, so the call-outs weren't solidified by that point, aren't really solidified now either, so...
We're going to call me the preeminent authority on all call-outs on Ancient, and I'm just going to keep making them up as I go along.
I'll just roll with you. I'm good with it.
Deagles are out.
Util at the either. Likely to expect aggression, though, so I think we're going to get slower ecos. Knowing that, as you can see, HEET are more than willing to take these longer range fights. Oh, that was nasty. Little flick back over. Eagle will be recovered. Balance wants to give it a go himself. He was hitting some great Eagle shots on the previous map, so if anyone's going to start dishing some headshots out, definitely the man we'd want to keep an eye on. Exercise could be swung on here if they both go for it. Perhaps even a chance at the trade, maybe a weapon to be taken away. It's the dink. Unfortunately, not quite enough from Jo, and with a Deagle in hand, Magno not even able to land that one bullet. If he had a P250, maybe strafe in and just finish him off, but wasn't really the weapon he needed in that situation. It's all on Balance. He's got one kill. He needs an ace clutch. It's not going to happen. Let's see if he can get any closer.
Even just some kills, some damage onto this CT side. Couple of the players over towards B, both wielding rifles. Maybe there's a timing there, but the crossfire is well set with a man towards E and another tucked in jail. Balance just hoping to play a fading smoke, but it's not to be. Maka finds the freebie. We're 3-0, and with 4 players kept alive, 3 of them rifles as well. Heat in a really solid position early on economically as the rifles come out for the first time for K23. If they can get past this one as well, the CT side, they'll be well set for the first 8-9 rounds of the half.
Yeah, it's only now where we start getting an idea, though, as to how this may actually play out. Balance has an op there on the T side up against Macca's, and I don't think they're going to be clashing too early on anyway. Bit of a focus towards B, actually, in the early moments from K23, maybe wanting a bit of a quicker push in here. They'll keep shump peeking from the back here. Nice little position for info, but it doesn't give them a lot of warning, I was going to say, as they do actually start pushing in. The gap in that smoke playing around the edge of it. Magno catches Lucky. They know as well that there has always been a player down in that little under section. The problem was they weren't expecting it to be the op this time.
Maka's pre-firing it as well. He's taken the tag on the chin, but the problem is more that this has drawn a near enough complete rotation, and K23 are not committed. The panic will start to set in for the CT side, and they will start to rethink their plans. But again, it is a little slow for K23, and it's allowed for time. It's allowed Rasmo an exercise not to get into a perfect position, but halfway between CT and the bricks, they're at least ready to try and put up some kind of a defense. That bomb yet to make its way in as well. And there's timings now with Rasmo playing close con. If he can find a kill and the backstab comes in as well, this starts to get really nasty. Rasmo gets 1 exercise there to trade his teammate's death, and 2-on-2, that bomb is still in no man's land, and Balance is going to wander into B with no idea that Maka is here. Maka hasn't spotted him either. 4x3 things. Oh, Rajin, missed shot from Maka. Balance on the pistol. This is madness. How does that ever happen? We can all see him plain as day, but that matters not. It's exercise. Thrown into the 1v2. Balance close on the angle, and 4x3 will be the undoing of Heat. That was something else, team.
Yeah, Balance coming alive gives them that opening gun round. Unfortunately, it doesn't fully break Heat despite the damage they've done throughout the rounds before, but you're only going to see really 3 players having what they need to truly get the rifles out here. So as long as K23 can keep this up now, they should have a nice chance of snatching some control, which, as you said, is definitely what they want to be doing here on this D side. Eagle for Joko, not the weapon you want here when you're going to be finding an op waiting on the other side. The shoulder gives it away, but Balance actually doesn't manage to land it, holding the angle too tight, if anything, there. Held it slightly wider. I think his reactions would have been perfect for it.
A little too confident in his own capability, shall we say. But after that opening fight, slows and secedes, it's going to be a little bit of a poke and a prod over towards A. Rasmo, the anchor over towards this portion of the map. It's a boost up over the top of the smoke, and Rasmo so nearly seen. He's worked his way up to plat, and Maka is actually here as well. Saw it, just not quite able to react in time. A couple of prods and pokes from K23, yet to really take any map control. Now they're working it, and it's exercise up close here with an MP9, the perfect angle for the SMG, only able to get the 1. As again, that mid-anchor falls and it starts to split the defense. It's a long old rotation from A to B if you haven't got mid. And as Maka starts to make it, they are encroaching on the B site here, K23. Just 30 seconds left, but it's only a deagle for Joko. Hits one. And that's bombed down inside of the E-box. Balance, another missed shot, another punishment. He finally goes down, Joko, but he's done all he needed to. Lucky on a recovered AWP, finds the pick onto his teammate, and Rajin. Nothing more to be done than to save that AWP as Heat clicking early on the CT side of Anubis.
Yeah, they just let that fall apart. Joko got away with too much, and well, we'll see if Heat are going to love this double up setup that they're rocking. That was K23's chance, though. Taking that would have forced Heat onto an eco, would have had K23 likely tying up the scoreline, having a chance to get a bit of a lead going. Could have put them on track for the 2-0. Instead, in the early stages here, at least, things are not going as they would have hoped when they decided, you know what, we'll pick Anubis. What are the chances they'll know how to play it? That was the thought process.
You reckon, do you?
Most likely, because, I mean, they don't look terrible. They clearly have their ideas here, but it's a shaky start for sure. The P90 miles ahead of everyone else because of that molly. Thought I had a chance maybe of catching the Opera up close. Instead, it's X5 who finds a bit of hope on the entrance, but the trades, I was going to say, continue to go the way of Heat, but not anymore. There we go. Idis Balance cuts off the rotation. The bomb now going to be planted, and it's all onto Razmo, who has been the clutch hero so far for them.
Idis Balance not in a great spot either, stuck behind that pillar, but he can't find the first fight. If he downed his man, he knew where Idis Balance was. The barrel of that AWP just poking out, but the faster B hit works out for K23, and it's a money breaker for Heat as well. 1900 loss bonus. The buy into the next is going to be ugly for some. Maka's repeated investment into the AWP coming back to haunt him. Will be the eco. P250 for Maka. Smoke in the hands of Exercise. A flashbang for Joko. And a charge down mid. There's an AWP here. Idis Balance. They're going to go clean through the smoke in the hopes of isolating fights. It's not quite to be, as the MAC-10 and AK look to support the AWPer. But, I mean, you can see he's down on 36 HP. For a split second there, he would have been incredibly concerned. As it stands, it's a relatively easy cleanup for K23. However, the MAC-10 building a nice bit of bank as well. And even with that full eco, as you start to stare down the CT side's finances, and they're staring down them as well, it's a big call to make. It's not a buy that will come easy. And in fact, they're going to half it. Despite full ecoing the previous, the money just is not there to get the full investment going. So it's Deagles, it's P250s, a little more util into this one. An aggressive in and around that B site. Exercise trusted with mid. The A site left unguarded. And playing a game of timings as the T side have left B open. There's nobody to protect for this aggression out of B main yet. Magna Jez has got the bomb. No. Razmo's found a freebie. I mean, they found the mid player, but everyone is home now for the CT side, and the bomb is right there. There's an AWP and a MAC-10 trying to fight this one out. Idis Balance trying to restore some kind of balance. He's found a couple of kills, but the Deagles have responded. Maka and Razmo have bought a 2-on-2, and Jeo is down on 28 HP. K23 are playing with fire here, and they look like they might well be burned. It's all onto the AK of Raging, and the spray just about locks it out. That was a half buy with Deagles and 5-7s, but it goes down to the last possible man as Heat make it brutally expensive for K23.
Yeah, I mean, they panicked when they lost the bomb there. They got into a 4-on-2 at one point, and just the op started peeking in first and everything against what they know is weaker weapons and such, so it didn't make much sense. Could have slowed it down, could have waited for that flank to come around so that it didn't have to be a clutch for Rasian, and instead he would have had his teammates, but, I mean, thankfully in the end they do make it work. 4-4, no economy being built, at least on top of what they already had in the reserve, which is a decent amount. Could have been a lot better, though. See, Heat need to come alive now, otherwise the CT side is going to become a bit of a struggle. Economy just too fragile, really, to continue sustaining these buys. A bit more focused on what looks to be a default, just pushing in for map control around connector now. One player left at least to watch B, so they won't be falling for that same push again. Same over on the A side of things.
Out of A main, they've pushed it through. Maka's there. There's a bait and switch setup. Maka goes down, but Razmo is there for the trade at least. As you said, heavy mid presence this time from the T side of K23. Potentially an A split to be called, but the bomb is deep back of bridge. Still to be recovered as it is by I Disbalance, but that's the A site taken surely. Exercise trying to do what he can out of exit, has managed to find one and at least keep it evens in a 3-on-3 as he repositions through CT. Problem is, again, he's completely locked out of this as he starts to try and think about a push. He goes down. And 2-on-3 for Joko and Lucky, rotating back in from this B site with afterplants already established. Feels like a lost cause. So they will just back away from it. K23 will be able to scramble another one together. A 5th round on the board. I mean, they're by no means easy rounds. You can see K23 have got some ideas, but they've got the rough cuts. They're not polished yet, and that's what we were expecting. So far, it's just about been enough to get it past HEET's defense.
Certainly had its scary moments, though. It did, as you said, like that initial push-up towards A main. Fortunate that they didn't find a bit more success on the initial play of the upper. If it had been a full push, perhaps things would have played out a little bit differently. Instead, the initial kill went the way of K23, and even with the 1-for-1 trade, wasn't really enough. Saved weapons, which might tempt them to buy. I don't want it to, though. Yeah, I was going to say the economy is just kind of on the brink for everyone when eco being taken, but it does also let K23 head up 6-4 here. And if they can keep this on track, if they start winning out those next gun rounds, things will become really, really scary for HEET. Lucky, I was going to say, might have the drop on them here from the back of the bomb site. Unfortunately, Aka was forced to tuck back in, couldn't play that distraction anymore. Instead, now it's the pistols coming through to help him out. Exercise even recovering an AK. And he's dropped the upper. Okay, 3-on-2. X5's on the brink of death. A single bullet will finish him off. And suddenly it's all left onto Rajin again.
1v2 for Rajin. These half-fires continuing to do work. It's Razmo tagged down to 13. The movement on the new map is ugly, but it's Rajin again who gets it done. They walked into the rifles there. A fast B play called by K23. I mean, they pulled it off, but walking into the stack very nearly again they're undoing. It's chaos incarnate. But the CIS roster really seemed to thrive with their backs up against the wall. A 6th round on the board, as you said. Economy well established, even with the losses for K23 now. And HEET in need of a recovery. 5 rounds left in the half. They'd want the majority of them. Boost up over the smoke in towards E to see if maybe there's a pick to be found, but not really spotting anything out at all. So they'll have to fall back, have to reassess, and with a missed smoke, they'll have to abandon E-Box almost entirely because Rajin's going to push right on in.
Yeah, unfortunately, around the smoke into the crosshair of Joko, who has no trouble at all with that initial kill. Looking at the scoreboard, Exercise didn't realize he was quite a bit ahead of everyone else on the team in terms of frags right now. It's good to see. Oh, Joko. Was he considering pushing that smoke himself as the push is coming in behind them, or at least as the nades were going down? It looks like he was for a moment. Instead, he waits it out. But it doesn't matter. Jo comes through. Only just about surviving the exchange, but for now at least tying the numbers back up in a 4-on-4.
Still three on the B site. Even as they look to execute in, it's a heavy-handed stack. And with limited time and even more limited nades, they're going to walk into this. The crossfires are established for the CT side. Molotov flushes Lucky out of his first position, but he's got more options behind him. Pushes the backside. A man round Glizzy to supply the kills. X5 with 1, but it's all in vain as they're picked off upon entry. I Disbalance the last man, and Maka knows exactly where to look. The pre-fire trying to connect. As the AWP will just be hidden away in the darkest recesses of Anubis. A gift to the gods, perhaps, as a 5th round on the board for HEET. And it feels, again, a little one-dimensional from K23. There really wasn't too much thought to that. They lost the opening pick. Fine, we're hitting B. Fully fledged. No backup plan if it goes wrong, which it did.
Keeping it a game for now, anyway. Trout giving up on me, apparently. I mean, both teams in with a pretty weak economy in this round, meaning obviously a lot is on the line. More so, I'd say, for Heat. They let this one slip. K23 heading up to potentially even 10. What a shot. I wasn't sure he spotted that, but apparently he did. Tip of the noggin seen over the smoke. Joko's going to try and follow up through B water, hoping that there's something around here that he can salvage. A difficult position to fall back from, though, so we'll have to see. Catch someone isolated for the fight, and he will. It's Rajin. Normally one of the players we see left standing towards the end of these rounds for K23, taken out early on. As I said, though, falling back would not be an easy task. Instead, a smoke gets dropped, and well, they're hoping that'd be enough for him to stay alive, but he gets flanked from mid there by Jo.
Rough old position, those canals with mid window available. It's always going to be a tough fight, and the man advantage is there for K23. More aggression is called, an E-box peek from Maka. Lucky looks to push out a B main. If he goes too far, there's a crosshair waiting for him. Magnagez on the angle, but Lucky creeps underneath it. Instant headshot. And we're back at level 3-on-3. Mid control to be taken with 40 seconds on the clock. The A site looking vulnerable, but Rasmo's not playing their games at the moment. He's tucked himself deep. He's not going to give them the fight thereafter. The bomb's still outside of B as well with 30 seconds left. This runs the risk of becoming an incredibly disjointed attack. They're going to try and work their way back through exit into Temple and onto that B site, but it's a long old time to get there. And there's a lot of angles to clear before you do. Idispala's caught on the timing as he looks to unscope, and Lucky caught on a timing of his own. Jo will find him, but it's on Maka. He's got the freebie, and now Jo has got to make it halfway across the map to find that bomb. It's never going to happen. The clock is their ultimate enemy as K23 try and get a little too tricky with it. We level out at 6 apiece. The economy breaking point for the T side, and the CTs, well, they would just about be able to keep on buying.
Tied up. Wasn't too sure we'd be getting to this stage after the initial streak of rounds from K23, but yeah, somehow K23 are going to keep on getting their buys out at least, so that's one positive. Just about scraping them together. Only real weakness here being the fact that Magno unfortunately doesn't have a rifle, which is a bit of a loss, I'd say, considering the performance he gave on map number 1. Slightly avoiding the nade damage there, Exercise down to 78. Not too big of a deal, but at least in the early stages, that small bit of damage that's been outputted onto both Exercise and Maka could help out when it comes to the Galil or even the Deagle.
Pushes out that middle control at least. Forces them back into slightly less favourable angles, and they're going to have to reaggress. Exercise wants the push, tucks himself close behind the door. Maka from Con provides the second angle. This crossfire is going to be incredibly tough to break, but a missed shot from Maka gets one. And now it's Exercise, charged down by 2, deals with both. Magnagez didn't have a gun, but it's Exercise who falls down to no ammo first. As it's chaos across the board, but it is an A site. It is a free plant. And it is a 2-on-2 for Joko and Lucky to try and conceive. At least this time in a solid position to do so. Both working their way through to connector. As the crossfire is set, Magnagez will watch the flank. Rajin tucked in towards the fishtail. Spots both, can't find either. And now they know exactly where to look for him. Magnagez can do nothing but watch on as Rajin has to do it all. He's got the first. He's tagged down low, but he does not care. 2 headshots. And round number 7 on the board as K23 again. It's very scrappy, but you can see the ideas. You can see the principles. A little bit fortunate in the afterplant, but they get the job done, and it's another nightmarish situation right at the death of this first half for Heat as they look at their economy and wonder how on earth they are going to put together 2 competitive rounds to finish this half.
I mean, you either put together one competitive round and the following, or you put together 2 very iffy ones. That's more the decision that I think they're left with at this point. It's a rough one. This back and forth has been crazy, though, and all things considered, I think the CT economy has held up relatively well. It's only now that they're truly starting to feel the pain of it. And yeah, I think they're likely to go with the eco, as I was saying. A couple pistols max, they get 2900, so it's not like they have to keep everything and spend a small bit. With K23, looking like they're coming through with a pretty decent T side here. I think this will be enough for them, though. That's the question. I think 9 definitely would be nice and comfortable.
In a solid position to try and get it. As you said, 2 iffy rounds or 1 competitive one. They've gone for the competitive finale. Handful of pistols into this one, but with the opening pick already going against them. Goes from bad to worse. Lucky again has caught this timing out of B main. Magnajez at least this time has spotted it, but those headshots angles so tough to clear. He'll have to concede, knowing that he can't afford to go down solo as he has so many times prior. So often we've seen he, on both maps, manage to isolate these fights. So they'll slow it down, they'll work their way through the angles, try and draw the rotations away. Bomb still deep, no commitment yet with a minute on the clock.
Little gap in the smoke there. Fortunately, the one up close he needs to worry about. Oh, Exercise just stepped through. The timing, horrible for Exercise actually. Steps around the corner with his head the wrong way. And then he gets it twisted back around with a bullet afterwards.
Should be a free round off the back of that as well. 2 kills found. Bomb to work its way back over to B. Running the clock a little low, sure, but you'd be asking a miracle of Razmo. You really would. 20 seconds. They're going to get their chances. K23 are really concerned about this, and they should be as well. They're going to lose the AK to Rasian. One will go down. Razmo will try and play the smoke, but X5 is wise to it. And as you said, it's looking a little frightened here. Djoko grabs another. Looking for all the damage he can find, and he's bought himself a 1v2 here. If he had armor, I think he'd give it a crack. Instead, knowing the situation, knowing the position his team are in, he'll grab that AK and surely look to save it for the last round of the half. But again, you're right. K23 looks so frightened of wandering into the stack, as they've done so many times at this point. Almost fell over their own feet trying to make sure that they didn't end up walking into a stack bomb site.
At least the AK looks like it's going to be carried through. Got to find some positives. Fine either way, but nice little addition to the investment to hopefully salvage a 7th round. Yeah, if things had if they could have caught, I think it was Rasian that was holding the push from Ader. If they caught him a little bit quicker, maybe they pull some of the assistance off of that B bomb site. It was the only thing that really would have given Razmo a chance to creep out of the smoke. Unfortunately, they managed to handle the flank from A pretty well. Really, there's no weakness to this buy at all for Heat. No excuses. This needs to be a round win so that things don't spiral out of control with a pistol loss, as could potentially happen going into that second half. Decent nade onto J.O. A very slow default, just in general, from K23, waiting out the nades.
Done this time and again. They've been very passive in the opening moments, bar a couple of fast sight hits. They want this mid control. Sending an army to find it, and it's Exercise to face. 2 kills again before he goes down, though. Spotted the bomb as well. This is where the timings really start to become everything. Maka still peering down E, will dodge the worst of it, and with that man advantage, it's still a solo player over towards that A site, but the drop is heard. Maka in with the freebie, and now 2 on 4. They've got to head to A. It's their only possibility of getting back into this round, and Razmo knows it. Tucks himself deep into heaven. Won't give them anything as they enter these initial fights. K23 will just wait. By the time, let the seconds tick down, listen to the sound of that plant coming through, and only then will he look to strike. He is playing this to perfection, the youngster, and he is not giving K23 an inch. Smoke goes down to enable the plant. Will at least be able to get that out, but out from heaven, tagged up is Razmo. Rasian, still no idea. Razmo gets a freebie despite the tag. And Magnajez, well, not normally the Orca, has got a lot to do, and he won't find any. A 7th round, 8-7, the narrowest of leads for K23 as we head to the halftime, and Anubis is delivering. The narrowest of leads is a lead nonetheless, and for K23, as they head on to their CT side, they are in the ascendancy, 8-7, as we get to see what HEET have got cooked up. K23, we said it a few times, they felt rough around the edges, but they definitely had ideas. For HEET, we've never seen them play it before. They didn't pick it. We've got no idea what's in the back pocket, at least an early smoke. As they look to try and split this A site, they're trying to isolate the fights in towards middle. HEETdjoko is going to play ahead of the smoke to give himself half an angle, but it's a rough old fight, and Joko's got the freebie. Molotov forces out the CT smoke, and they're going to charge on through this. X5 under siege, can't get anything. And this round is done. In a matter of milliseconds, they've stormed the A site. And with the initial nade lineups looking solid as well, it looks like HEET have come to party on Anubis. They've got the angles, they know the fights. Joko trying to bait this last shot out. HEETdjoko will get at least one more before he goes down, but it's HEET who start the second half in winning ways.
We never really seen a quick and confident approach to a round like that from K23 either. They were always just playing out that default, trying to get a feel on what was going on. I like that HEET were like, do you know what, screw it. Glocks, they're good up close. There's lots of close places here on this map as well. Nice little split in towards A. Can go south, sure, but this time around it's worked. Now if they overcome this force buy, there'll be an eco afterwards. It'll be HEET on track to head up to at least towards 10 rounds, and at that point they'll be on track for potentially a 3-map series, which, as we said, is when things get incredibly interesting, with a strong turret map in Inferno for both of these teams. At least previous iterations of both of these teams. Magno already pushed out. I don't think he's been spotted. It doesn't matter. Balance rips off Lucky's head with the scout. This should allow him to catch off Exercise in on the right now. The Shadow gives it away, but he can't land the shots. That's unfortunate. If Exercise went down, it would have been 2 recoverable weapons.
Yeah, it would have been a huge kill to find. Instead, it's 4-on-4. The tag on Balance as well. Still utility available for the execute, and it's going to force some gambles out of this CT side. Dispatching of the rifle as well as Exercise, making absolutely sure as there's a little bit of a creep coming out onto B here. And Jo is playing a timing around this pillar. Playing a timing that's going to get him undone. Balance the next to fall as well. That MP9 just didn't quite know what hit it. Free sight. And for X5 and Rajin, it's just a matter of, well, maybe an exit. Nothing doing for the UMP, and the Deagle is all the way over on A. What was potentially a promising situation there. If Jo catches the timing, Balance there to back him up. If maybe, just maybe, that Deagle finds the initial 3-on-5. Instead, it falls by the wayside. A 9th round, the lead for HEET. As you said, an eco to follow, so likely a 10th. As Joko dispatches of the last.
Smooth sailing once again. I like what we're seeing from HEET so far. We'll see once they're really tested by the guns, because K23, I think, handled their initial few rounds pretty well also. I don't think they were quite as clean, though. Which is definitely going to come back to bite them coming into these initial gun rounds, especially with how heavy HEET have just gone on the rifles here. Aren't taking too many risks. I mean, they won't build up the extra money from SMGs, but as long as they're not dropping players, they should be good. Pushing through mid, I like the idea. Unfortunately, they left a massive gap in the smoke, which did give some room, of course, for the gun to work with there. Take a Lil. Still 1 kill, though, on the Exercise. Not too bad. X5 left alone, naded, spotted, and finished off pretty quickly. I mean, 1 death. HEET aren't going to be too worried. K23 didn't really put much in other than a smoke, I think, so they themselves aren't going to be too unhappy with what they got over the single kill. Now they're fully focused on coming alive here and now. If they lose out in this first gun round, that's when you're really going to begin to worry.
This is where we need to see them start kicking. Exercise still firmly leading the charge, 21-13. He has been flying so far. Anubis, clearly a home map for him. Heat have called the timeout here as well. I like it. Slow it down. Force that CT side to sit and think it through that little while longer. As they sit and look and realise, like you said, Dean, this round goes wrong. It's 12 before they can fight again, and it's just very quickly slipping away from them, Anubis. They did the hard work on Ancient to steal their opposition's map pick. They won't want to go down on their own. The buy's not great either. Small sacrifices made. Several without head armor, making the Galils of Rasmo and Maka that little bit more vicious. I disbalance just a single flashbang to get that AWP moving. And again, it's fast. This time, mid-presence. Very similar to the pistol. The nade does a lot of the heavy lifting to start the round off, but X5 is in trouble here. They are charging him. And somehow his movement has kept him alive a few seconds longer. Tucks himself into the connector. He's going to have multiple fights to take, and he misses the first. Joko down to 7 HP, but it's the man advantage, and that's all Heat will care about here. Rasmo working his way into A long. Will go down to Rajin. There's multiple bodies for the AWP to deal with, but he can't hit any. And now he's alone inside of this A site, being chased from all angles, and 1 kill is all he'll get. Damage onto 2 players to tempt the CT side into this retake, but Heat's electric pace has just been too much for them so far. Close angle for Joko. Playing around the bricks. Low HP, knows he needs an instant headshot, won't get it. Lucky next, inside of the site, playing the roundabout. Not expected at all. There's the freebie. And now with his position, Noni swings wide for the second. 39 HP, 2 kills. Clean as you like. It's 11 for Heat. And at the moment, K23 just can't sit in the flames. The pace is too much for them.
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of spiraled out once X5 died, really. He needed a slightly more passive position with his teammates being so aggressive up in main there as well. But Idis Balance pushed forward. The second he died, there was not much that Idis Balance could do. He took out one, I think, on the trade towards main, falls back, gets another as they're coming in through mid. But it's just still sandwiched at that point. It was impossible for any more to be gotten. As Heat are going away with a very solid lead. A CZ opening kill from Jo. Alright, not too often that we even see this weapon being used, let alone effectively, as a second kill is going to be found. Emerging from the smoke, no vision at all. They walk into their deaths one by one as a single casualty is suffered from K23, and somehow they find themselves a massive lifeline. Free weapons. There we go.
Well, I suppose that's one way to kickstart your CT side. Jo just swings a CZ into a triple kill out of absolutely nothing. They won't care how they got it.
It's the double-edged sword, really, isn't it? Because that's the approach he have been taking since the beginning of this of the half. Just quick pushes together, hoping to trade effectively. And for the first few rounds, at least, that was working really well.
Yeah, it puts you at the mercy, especially up close and personal. Some of those pistols, arguably more effective than the rifles. This time it's more aggression out of main from Idis Balance, and a nasty little flick. He shoots before he's even out. The flick continues, but the bullet has gone off. And a man advantage much needed for K23, a stabilizing factor in this CT side. Up against the rifles once more, but this time with the man advantage to play with. Toying with more aggression into mid as well. Instead, the fight extended around the E-box as Joko takes yet more nade damage, down to 19 HP without seeing a soul for more than a second. Timings will be everything here as the bomb on the back of is way outside the angle. Flash through the mid doors will find X5 another kill, and now 3-on-5. This should be enough. K23 have bought themselves the lifeline of the pistol. They've converted 2 quick kills to start the rifle buy. And with the bomb still outside of B, nothing really doing for Heat. I'm not sure if they even want to give this one a go. They're looking at the damage. They're looking at where Maka is on the map. And I think they're thinking, we'll take the rifles into the next one.
Seems like the safe bet at this point. They've got some money, but won't quite be enough for the drops, of course, with them surviving. It's unfortunate. One more kill, even for Lucky, would have let him drop an AK over. Instead, the 3 weapons have to do. Likely to take an eco, I'd imagine. They've got a bit of loss bonus already going. Obviously, Maka is going to be left pretty mismatched with the rest of the team as he doesn't get any alongside Joko and Lucky, but Joko and Lucky at least having enough in the bank there. I was going to say to allow a buy in the next round.
They want it.
Oh, I don't love it. I mean, it's only exercise fully investing. Rasmo looks like he's about to. They could have had 3 weapons here, maybe 1 or 2 pistols even dropped over and had a decent shot at winning this round, and then had the full buy in the next round with just Maka on a weaker weapon. It's risky, but I mean, going all in here, you can understand it. They want a slightly better shot at winning this round rather than planning for the future, especially with how close the score line is.
They're going to go fast as well, almost immediately working their way towards the E-box. Heat have wanted to play this T side with pace. That's where a lot of their success has come through, and they're doing it again here. It's going to be a group outside of A. Utility to keep the CTs honest, and Rajin under all the pressure in the world here. There's going to be a straight execute coming his way, and there is nobody home to help. Solo out of heaven. The timings are going to be absolutely everything here. Heat have found the gap, and it's going to be X5 first rotation, but he's all the way up mid. As the nades come over the top, Rajin will do what he can. A Molotov goes in, but there's a counter smoke already down. They'll charge straight on through that. The A site completely open for the taking. The smokes blocking the CTs out of any kind of positioning. And Mac are able to find the opening pick. That's a big kill. And it might just be the kill that convinces K23 this one isn't worth going for. They're flanking out. There is timings on the board, but without a kill going their way soon, I don't think they want to give this one a go. And in fact, I don't think they want to give this one a go at all. They've resigned themselves to playing for the exit kills. Didn't even need the force by Dean. They just walked into the A site. And there was barely a whimper of resistance from the CT side.
Yeah. I mean, it's rough. I understand the save here, even with the money. There's no point just throwing away the weapons. It is a pretty difficult site to retake. You've got the 3 entrances to come in from, but even then, there's so many little angles they can be tucked in behind. As both sides, while they were set up to maybe try and get a bit of action against each other, you can see K23 were all chilling around the canals there, I think, but they didn't push in any further. And he took the really safe approach of not moving out past the A main area itself. 12-10, 2 rounds in the difference. He on track again for what could be their chance to force the 3rd map here. Winning out this gun round, while it wouldn't fully break the economy still with everything being saved over, would really start to have K23 sweating about the scoreline, just kind of running out of their way at that point. That nade, if he tosses it now, should do good damage on Joko. Not as much as I was expecting, but a follow-up molly, that will do quite a bit more.
Good tags to open things up.
It's up the water on there, did you see that?
I didn't. Problem is, again, they've got to respect this A site now, K23. They've gambled with Rajin playing solo. Now they've got to have more rotations. They've got to have more angles available, and they're going to be tested again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Heat ready with the execute. A little bit more in terms of rotations available this time. X5 and I disbalance in some kind of a position to help out. But again, it is going to be Rajin. This time playing close to the roundabout, just inside of the site. Flashes go in, smoke over the top. Rajin needs to call the reinforcements, and he needs to do it now. Drops the smoke inside of the site to buy time. I disbalance up on the bricks, flashed off his angle. Can't do anything to protect his rifle inside of the site, and Joko puts his man down. I disbalance with 1. They're trying to charge it early, and it's working. 2 quick kills for the AK before Joko can find any kind of a trade, and I disbalance. The shot baited out, but the second will land. The wallbang connects. And the A-side defense, it didn't hold, but it retook beautifully. Jo now, an isolated fight at least for Maka, with Bomb still on his back and a flank coming in, but I disbalance catches the timing. It could have gone wrong. It could have really got ugly at the death there, but K23 scrambling. They retake the site before the after plant is set, and that gives them just enough leverage to get it over the line. Even
with how close that round was, they're still building the economy pretty damn well also. I have no idea how HEETdjoko got away with what happened right there. The first of the 2 kills towards the end, obviously he had a kill before that as well, but he had his back turned. It seemed like if Joko just took the 1 step forward, he would have had him, but hesitated, presuming that HEETdjoko would have been posted on the angle when he was initially looking the other way, and then had to spin around for a quick shot. Pushing through main though, Rajin. Seen this a couple of times, haven't fully committed it though. You can leave the 1 player forward, it'll allow, as you can see, for a bit more presence around mid and B right now. It's just a bit risky if he does end up over-committing or if they come back towards him. So let's see what the plan is for HEET. For now, smoke in on mid. Gives them a bit of freedom, at least restricting the info around that area right now.
Oh, dink through the boxes for Asian. Traded damage. Which may actually force more of a rotation from the CT side, knowing that your sole A site defender is down to 65 health. It's a risky game to play. Molotov goes in though, and the shot lands. Traded out. 2 quick kills from HEETdjoko. He wants a 3rd, and he's given it on a plate. HEET swing 1 by 1 into the angle, and it's a death sentence. Just feeding the AWP of HEETdjoko as Maka and Razmo are left. I mean, Razmo gets 1, sure. With 35 seconds left, that CT defense doesn't need to budge, and it won't. They've got 2 players nestled into the depths of this B site, and that'll be the round. Surely HEET won't throw away these rifles looking at their finances. They'll creep away. They'll hold on to an AWP, hold on to an AK, and live to fight another day. But K23 will level the scoreboard. And it feels like HEET are starting to run out of ideas now. They've tried that mid-take 3-4 times. It's failed. The last couple. This one spectacularly so. K23 have got a read on it. And this is where we need to see that extra bit of depth that you get from playing and knowing these maps. That back of the strat book play. Something different. Something to catch K23 off guard. Just an AWP and an AK into this one. 3 Glocks behind it. But next round they need to pull something special out.
The back of the strat book though. I mean, does that even exist yet for Anubis? Barely a middle section, I'd imagine. Teams are still really
still in the main story, aren't they?
Yeah. More of a prologue, maybe even, because we'll probably end up having changes at some points based on how all of this is playing out. It's normally how it goes with the new maps. Bit of a rough buy from HEET as well, and that's with everything being invested. Oh, this is horrible. This doesn't work out for them. They are in trouble, likely to give away 14, and well, giving away kills to HEETdjoko is how it's been going over the past couple of rounds. He really does live up to his name. He's the reason right now that this isn't leaning towards HEET. He's on 22 kills, followed nearest by X5, who's got 14. He really is leading the charge, and I think he was up towards the top on map 1 as well.
He's managed to catch Exercise up, which is all the more impressive because he was head and shoulders above the rest. And with that opening pick, again, the CT side are given a little bit more leeway to turtle on the respective sites, drop the util by the time they're allowed to keep a 2-man stack over towards A, with HEETdjoko watching for any kind of cheekiness through the connector. And it is going to be that A site again. It's where HEET have had a lot of success. Just popping into the A site execute. They're going to try it once more, but this time X5 and Rajin are ready inside of the site. It's going to be on to Razmo and that AWP of Maka. They are going to need picks, and they have to be lightning quick if they are to buy any kind of space and any kind of time for these pistols to get it done. Razmo trades both his teammates' deaths for an initial rifle kill, but it leaves Maka out on a limb, 1v3. He knows there's a player inside a site, but he's only got 10 seconds. There's nothing he can do. He's playing around the plateau to find at least the one with 5 seconds left, but he's being chased out from all sides, and he's got to try and survive here because they're going to hunt relentlessly, and they're going to get him after time as well. $100 in the bank for Maka. With 2,900 loss bonus, his buy even next round is going to be bad. It's going to be awful.
Yeah, that was really worst case scenario right there, to die after time. I'm surprised they didn't just take the fight initially while on the stairs. This may as well have swung wide rather than dropping the smoke. Maybe had the belief that they were all around the bomb site at that point, hoped he could get away, but sadly that wasn't the case. I've got to say, even though Razmo's down at the bottom of the scoreboard right now, kills-wise, considering he's a newcomer and he kind of lacks experience, he hasn't played with a ton of top teams or against very strong teams, I like what we're seeing from him. He isn't the sort of player that's been making really any mistakes. He's playing his role, and at least on the first map was doing a great job at fragging as well.
Top frag on map 1.
Exactly. Looking forward to seeing more of him in the future for sure. See whether there's any more within this series. Maybe another gun round at the very least, as X5, he cleans it up with a tiny bit of assistance from Rajin on mid. 4 kills to his name. That's more like it. He was struggling earlier on mid. Confidence builder against the weaker weapons.
Yeah, it's a tough position to play. CT side on this map is tough to play in general. From what I've seen from the games I've played, the rotations, it's a tough old map to hold on to. And you're almost forced to play with an element of proactivity. You're forced to play on the front foot, lest you get executed into, like we saw from Rajin. On that single round where he was the sole A-site defender, they play passive, they just get executed into. There's no room. Joko again playing with fire, playing with nades, tagged up in these opening moments. Maka also down to 66 on the Mac 10 after that disastrous after-time death. Just a few peaks from the CT side. Nothing too aggressive in these opening moments. Sticking with the 3-man play over towards B. Which for the time being does look like it's going to be tested. There's presence there and they're shuffling nades K23 to maintain that E-box control. I like the idea. Magnajez gets a fresh set, another molly, another smoke rather. Can hold the timings a little while longer as Joko takes some more damage. He's got a refresh. There's the molly. Joko again goes down even lower. Smoke to follow up, and with 45 seconds left, what's the call here? They want to split this B bomb site. The bomb is outside of it, but they've still not got E-box control. There is still presence there through the smoke, though. Joko finds a freebie, and now it's on to Jo. A fading smoke, a timing, eye disbalance, trying to hold down his main control. Rasmo finally puts his man to the grave and doubles it. A big set of kills from out of the E-box. The rotations are fast, but not fast enough. The molly will keep them busy. And that will open up an avenue to a plant with 2 players tagged up. They can give this a go. They've got the money to throw at this kind of a round if they want to try. X5 is on the long flank. Rajin just firing off warning shots, keeping them busy. Trying to buy time for his teammate, but Exercise continues to watch. And with the molly going down, I think this may be more about the exit kills than anything else at this point. Exercise is watching for exactly this flank, and as X5 rounds the corner, it's a gift, a freebie that's doubled. HEET managing to take that E-box control is critical. Managing to get that big through the smoke kill on the Mac 10 really enabled that whole round to spring into action. The buy will keep on coming for K23, but they are going to run out of money eventually. They've not got too many more in the bank.
That was rough. I mean, Jo done what he could with all of them coming in towards him at E-box, but the timing for eye disbalance was just unfortunate. If he held the angle he was on towards main for a second longer, probably would have at least gotten the 1 kill before dying to Rasmos. And if he flicked maybe a second earlier, he would have got Rasmos before dying to the other guy. So he was just right in the middle of what would have been a sweet, perfect spot otherwise for just the one and done. Oh, nice shot by Joko this time. Not letting anything happen around that E-box. It'll be main instead over on the A side of things where the double push-up works out. They take a lot of damage, though, just to get that 1 kill back. And as Exercise shuts down the mid-aggression, it is a pretty big advantage here for HEET.
Yeah, E-box control as well. It's nightmare for you all to clear out the Molotov. It backs Joko into a corner, sure, and the HE will do some work, but he's still in there. He's still kicking. And with Jo alone over towards that B site, they're going to execute straight into him. Rajin is trying to rotate in as quickly as possible, but he's only got 13 HP to work with. This is all Jo. From back of Ninja, he needs to get multiple kills, and the Molotov's going to flush him into the open. He's found 1, but that'll be it. Joko quick with the trade. And Rajin, as much as he's up the speedway, is in no position to contest this plant. It's going to be 14-all. There's no way, surely. Eye disbalance waiting for the fading smoke, but he's tagged down as well. And the afterplants are set.
Got to be a save, right?
It's got to be.
Sure, they've got some money, but they're about to go 14-14 also, so if you can keep a little bit on top of buying, that won't hurt. With the health on both players, I mean, your healthiest player is 48 with an op, who also has a ton of utility, so it's certainly not worth just throwing that away for maybe a 5% chance they would have had of pulling off that retake. I like pulling numbers out of my arse. Wouldn't have loved their chances either way. They should be fine to save. I think Heat were willing to hunt, but they also didn't really want to just throw themselves at it. If they were going to find the fight, they weren't really willing to throw away whoever found out where they were, basically, by running into an op crosser. 14-14, we're tied up. Was not expecting this, I'm not going to lie. It was the same in the first half, though, where it looked like it was going to be all K23. Then Heat managed to establish it back into a decent half, and it's happening here again towards the end of the second half. Which might mean, who knows, maybe even an overtime.
They bought themselves a bit of economy as well, Heat. They put themselves in a good spot here.
Bit of a change-up. Very expensive one.
They're going to charge down mid, pile the pressure on X5. He has to back away. He hasn't got the support he's had previously of iDisbalance. As instead, they went for an initial double setup in towards A main. Mid control conceded. A split feels a distinct possibility here, and it's just these two players inside of the site, iDisbalance and Rasian, to do it all. iDisbalance is gone, it's all on Rasian, and it's a rough old spray. Nothing to do, nothing to say. 3 quick kills. The A site has been a nightmare for this CT side, and it continues to be. Nothing they could do about that. The execute just too clean. That A site split, Heat have called it over and over. And if they can't contest it at mid, Heat have not had anything to do at A. They've just wandered in, 3 headshots. The save is called by K23, and Heat are 1 round away from forcing us the distance.
Yeah, it feels almost like a certainty at this point with how Heat have just kind of picked up their level over these past few T rounds. And they've finally actually put a noticeable dent in the economy. If not for the 2 weapons that are maybe being saved, you would have quite a weak buy from K23. And there's the op gun. Definitely not being recovered either. That is worst case scenario. He can buy it again, but it'll be just body armor to back it up. If they want to get one elsewhere, iDisbalance could go glass cannon, but I don't think he's going to do it. Instead, they're going to swap about a little bit. So it'll be limited nades, sure. The firepower at least is there. But right now, what they're doing is just fighting for an overtime. Can they keep themselves alive here and keep the dream of a 2-0 in play? Or are Heat confirming Inferno as the decider? We get a pause.
We've got a tech.
Was that from Heat? Oh, I wasn't sure.
It's a tech. It's a tech.
It's a tech? Oh, of course it is. My bad.
Just to keep us busy.
Wouldn't be us getting a quick tactical pause before the final round. No, they weren't even planning on that. I don't think they didn't want to chat anything out.
Oh, the game that keeps on giving. 14-all. Goes 15-14 with a big A-site hit from Heat. K23's map pick. They've fought to the death on it, you have to say. Just in these dying moments, their CT side has started to evaporate. And this buy, as you said, it's not great. iDisbalance, a single flash behind the AWP. X5, Magnajez and Jo sacrificing head armor. Not that that will matter against anyone except Exercise, who is still rocking the M4A1. Goodness only knows why. He's got the money to buy an AK. Take the one-shot headshot, boss. FAMAS in the hands of Rasian, that lone A-site defender who's been put under it so many times. And here we go. One more.
Potentially. Or we could have a very long overtime ahead of us. And then still a third map. Who knows? These 2 teams, anyway, have been damn near neck and neck. Even on the first map, while it started off pretty rough, Heat did have their moments where they woke up. They never really got a chance to truly take control and have it looking like they were going to have the real opportunity to win. But they always kept it a fight at the very least, which was good to see. And that's given them the chance to fight back in here after a rough Anubis initially. Slower on the T side.
They're just going to call it.
Yeah, I like this group towards B.
They're just going to hit it. No messing about. Final round of regulation at the very least. Fast execute. Hit the B site with everything you've got. iDisbalance and Jo here to defend. Magnet's in a good spot as well, and they're going to disrespect the smoke. Flashes will stop them in their tracks. The first execute is null and void. And they didn't really have a plan B, Heat. They were going to go through that hell for leather, but the Flashes just started to ward them off, and now they've not got util. Disbalance roaming on the AWP finds the opening. And with just one smoke, 2 Flashes and a molly, they want to double back. They want to try the A site that has been so kind, so friendly to them over this series. Maka with the big pick, the necessary kill, lucky with another, and it's the FAMAS to be piled under all the pressure in the world, but they line up. 2 quick kills. Rage able to retreat as well, finally put down, and 2-on-2. It's Maka and Djoko, and Joko's going to play this aggressively, but he's up against the fastest AWPer in the West. Disbalance buys them a 1-on-2. Maka needs an early kill and knows it, but it's only the no-scope. He will be put down, and it will be overtime on Anubis to decide between these 2 rosters. And we will be back with that very overtime in just a few moments. My first ever Anubis is an overtime. What a treat. 15-all as we head into OT1. And for HEET, you have to say it feels like the advantage is in their court. Their T-side was really kicking. A little bit of magic was all that really got K23 into the CT half, and they've got to start there again. Once more, they've got to try and work out how to defend against such a resolute HEET T-side. And they don't look like they're overcomplicating this one, the Frenchmen either. 4 players outside of B. Ready and waiting for the hit to come through. Jo on secondary AWP duty inside of this B site is going to be piled under all the pressure in the world. As again, the rotation's a long way from home. It's kill or be killed. Flashes come in. Jo with the initial shot. He needs the backup of the rifle and gets it. But that dig flag is coming through, and now it's just Jo, and he can't land the flick. 3-on-3, make it 3-on-2 as Maka finds another big pick through the temple onto X5, and as they start to try and work their way back in, it's a dink, but no more. Joko puts down the rifle Eurasian, and with a double AWP bought into the first round of OT, this is surely a save. HEETDjoko needs to keep a hold of it. The money will not sustain that kind of buy consistently.
I've got to say, it looks like this B bomb site is going to be really tough to hold when you're being focused between the canals as well. Wondering if there's a swap up, because you can't really afford to have 3 players on this side either. It's just tough in general to have quick rotations, as you've seen. Even if you get those initial 2 kills, the trade comes back, even just one of them. If you get locked out of a bomb site, looks like it's going to be pretty difficult to deal with. Save though for HEETDjoko at the very least. I mean, he's the only player who would really need to do so with the off being bought back up.
They're going to buy the double again.
I think they need a pick early as well to alleviate some of the pressure. That seems to be the big issue. Because even in the 5-on-5s, just sitting back, there's too many different points across the map that HEET are willing to prod at.
Yeah, this is what I've been saying. There has to be an element of proactivity to your CT sides. You can't just sit. It's not like other maps. If you let the fight come to you, it will undo you.
I think in everything we do is a proactivity. We're pros.
I like this setup into main. Bait and switch. HEETDjoko to ring off the initial shot. Raging close to follow up. Gives him some breathing room from the flashes as well. And it is going to be the A-pop. So this setup has to work. HEET are not messing around in overtime. They're just calling the fast plays, calling the pops as they see him. And it's going to be on HEETDjoko and Raging this time. They tried B, that worked. They head back to A. HEETDjoko missed shot. Raging not reacting quickly enough. 2 immediate headshots round over.
It's half done pretty much as well. I know there's one more round and they will have money with these 3 weapons saved especially, or even with just 2 of them here, which I think they have to go for at this point. But yeah, I wasn't really giving them any chance of that retake, and that's been confirmed at this point. Backing away. 17 for HEET. Inferno beginning to look incredibly likely at this point. I like the T side we're getting from them, but I mean, HEETDjoko, he's dropped off big time. He was on, what, 21 or 22 kills, maybe 10 or so rounds ago? There you go. Anyway, definitely has slowed down. X5 gets an upgrade to an AK, although he might get killed here from the player in spawn. No, never mind. He is apparently ready for that as well. Doesn't matter, though. He's not really dealing out any damage that's going to be worth anything. A few extra kills on the scoreboard, that's always nice, but that's all they're really doing right now. It's 17 on the board for HEET, and they might even still be on track for a flawless T side here to kick off the overtime, which will really have K23 worrying. They'll need this final round and a flawless T side of their own to be winning this. So
this has to be perfect. Need this round just to give them any kind of a buffer headed to their T. Sticking with the double AWP. Try and give themselves, as you said, that pick that they desperately need before they head to the T side. It's aggression, but it's punished. Raging trying to charge his way out A main. Just not able to stay alive. X5 will find the response, but immediately the trade is there. And despite Joko going down to 11 HP, it's the man advantage for the T side. HEETDjoko knows he's got to be the man to once again tilt those scales. So it's aggression into A main. He finds the pick. Flashbang won't deter him either. He's going to continue as more aggression charging around the map is Magnajez to find what could be a critical kill. That's bombed down, and despite the amount of control this T side have got, they're all the way in CT spawn, for heaven's sake, but they can't catch a timing, can't catch a break as Jo flicks round to find the shot. And it leaves Exercise 1v3, time on the clock, sure, as he hits his first headshot, but he needs more than that. Needs some kills to start going his way, needs something start going in his favor in a major way, because the CTs are bunkered. They are not going to move from this bomb, and they are not going to let him survive this one. 16, it's around a desperately needed one for this CT side, but it's not going to be over any time soon. They've got to keep pushing it as we wait for the second half of OT1 to get started. It's going to be a T side, and it's going to be a T side for K23 that they've not played in a good long while here.
Yeah, and it didn't really end too well from what I can recall either. Had a strong start, kind of went a bit more competitive towards the middle as the economy eventually broke, and then K23, HEET rather, were able to end it on a decent note from what I recall. So it's going to be rough. They did at least salvage the one round out of the previous half, meaning they don't need to be absolutely flawless, but pretty damn close to it rather. So see if they can take it up a notch. No longer double opping, of course, as you'd imagine on this T side either. Magno's had a much slower game here. Did reconnect at one point, but I think even before that reconnection, he wasn't having the best of performances.
Yeah. Double up called by the CTs. Lucky gets secondary. Trying to play a little more proactively with it as well. Boost over the E-box smoke. Not to find anyone though. Exercise close to the smoke, spraying through only the one. Good damage onto X5, sure, but not the kill. He'll switch out to the AWP, and 4-on-4, the T side of K23 will look to regroup.
Potentially, he still have a lurker here, making sure no one's going for that late A push. Might come in from Rasmo just as he begins to back away, though. We'll see. Either way, they've still got some time, and while they do have a clear plan in mind to head towards this B-bomb site where they found, I would say, a few of their rounds, at least during that regulation. Fortunately, Flash doesn't quite work out. Lucky was only very, very slightly affected by that, I think. So free reign really on the first kill. And at this point now, a man down, heavy damage on X5 as well. They just need to go in somewhere together.
Need to group and need to find some picks, because otherwise this round will fall by the wayside. A site feels a viable target. Mid has been abandoned by HEET, so there's a timing on a flank here, and you can see them trying to patch that hole, but it's Rasmo who comes out on top. The Molotov will trade it. And surely they must know that that means the A site is open. That's the anchor. Maka has managed to rotate into CT, but with 20 seconds left, how much impact can he realistically have from that position? They need to get into this A site, and they need to do it now. Footsteps are loud. The CT side know what's up. Bomb on the back of X5 is facing a fight it cannot afford to take. That's the round. Small margins, small mistakes, but they all compound. They all add up as it's 18 for HEET. And 2 opportunities to put this one to bed in OT1.
Yeah, I mean, K23 fighting for a second overtime. Didn't really expect it to get to this point, but it does seem like he somehow have the skills on Anubis that I don't think K23 were expecting. I wonder if it was more of a K23 had done their basics, kind of thought they'd be able to make it work against the team they were presuming hadn't played it at all. But I think he had a very similar idea about getting things down on both the T and CT side of this map. That was wild from Exercise. We haven't really seen anything like that from either of these teams on the CT side, especially not a solo push. That was crazy. Could have maybe gotten a bit of info around the canals instead, but I mean, the 1-for-1, a little bit of extra damage on top of that as well. It's not a terrible result.
Not a terrible result, but again, Rasian just pushes his mark. A little bit too keen into the angle, and the man advantage is back the way of HEET. 3-on-4, and again, the CTs will start to scramble and shape their rotations. Moving that third player deep in towards CT spawn. Maka will try and watch for the connector split, but he's smoked off. And that allows for the push. Magnajez starts to work his way out. He's heard that jump spot as well. He's got the information to work with here to try and support iDisbalance, as it is going to be this A site split, and iDisbalance gets the freebie. That's the bomb site. Magnajez's position now becomes absolutely everything, but Lucky's having none of it. A lightning fast flick from the secondary AWP, no less, buys them a lifeline. 2 on 3, and Maka turns the corner. Aware of the possibilities, they're playing an incredibly ambitious crossfire here. HEETDjoko is so close to this angle. He knows Maka's coming. He gets the freebie. X5 there to back him up on the comm peak. And X5 actually opts to fall back, allows his teammate to bait Lucky in. The spray is awkward, though, and it leaves the 1v1. HEETDjoko up against Joko. The bomb is not in a good spot for him either. The stick's going to come through. Hoping to play the timing. HEETDjoko charging, Glock in hand, and oh my goodness. So desperately close. But the Glock gets it done. It takes every man from K23 to go down to find the round, but they get their 17th, and they are still in this.
He had to have been less than a second off right there. The Glock just taken way too long to confirm that final kill. That scared the hell out of me. Able to make it work, though. Yeah, I mean, the time was pretty low. If there was 5 more seconds on the clock right there, he's probably able to fake that instead and take the fight against HEETDjoko, who would have been still forced to run at him in basically the same way. Fortunately, he had to stick it. Double up on the CT side here. The final round of this overtime. Can he confirm it as a 3-map series? Or do K23 still have that bit of fight left in them? That's the question. This time, no crazy charges in on mid for the initial kills or anything from HEET. A little more standard. Maka waiting for his opportunity to arise, and that's the bomb taking the fight in on mid. As Maka drops it, it's not under his control, and it is impossible for him to gain control of it, but either way, a man advantage early on is going to be a big pickup with so much pressure already on the shoulders of K23.
4v5 to stop this heading to Inferno on your map pick in OT1. What are you going to call? Straight B-pop. Taking a leap out of Heat's book here. No messing around. The flashes are good. They know Joko's isolated in towards E-box. They've just got to find that AWP, but Lucky continues to find damage before surely he goes down in and around Glizzy. Finally put to the grave. But he buys a 3-on-3. He buys an opportunity for an afterplant, and Rajin picking up the AWP. Picking up the second AWP of this T side off the corpses of a CT. Buys them the man advantage. There's damage on the board here. 2 players desperately low. The M4 Erasmo could finish the job here. As he starts to swing in, though, HEETDjoko has got his number. Maka left a 1v3 to prevent OT2, and he's stuck in and around that temple. It's going to be OT2, and we're going to be back in just a moment. We go again. We need no intro for this. It's HEET on their CT side. The CT side that had multiple 5v4 conversions slip through their fingertips as they try and force us the distance to map 3. All is even once again, and it's aggression. The order of service, the double AWP setup, but it's Maka swinging in. Oh, he wants this peak off the bridge, but HEETDjoko wants it more. A rare gift for a T side that struggled. A man advantage in the opening moments. And an opportunity to pull and twist this CT defense with rotations. Rasmo forced to drop his molly. There's counter-aggression, but it's read by X5. The Molotov forces him back, but not far enough. 3-on-5 now. The best position K23 have found themselves in a month of Sundays on this map. And HEET know they've got to do something to turn the tide. They know there's got to be a pick to be found somewhere on this map. Lucky roaming that AWP in towards E. But K23 are giving them nothing. Still a minute on the clock. Still time. And they will wait for these pushes. They will punish every peak that is given to them. Jo with a third. X5 tucked into the canals. Just completely unseen. As Rasmo, The A defender is left in an impossible situation, a 1v5 as HEET. Their transgressions, their proactivity is punished by K23. And Razmo, well, he's left with table scraps. A nice double at least. The B-bomb site defended. The problem is A is wide open for the taking, and it will be taken. Razmo. I mean, an ace clutch would be a moment of magic. He finds a dink onto eye disbalance, but there's so much brickwork between him and them that it's only a tag, a couple of health. Eye disbalance falls back to the relative safety of roundabout. And he has teammates in afterplants here as well. He knows exactly where this man is. He calls in the cavalry from all possible sides. And it's an awkward spray. But Raging gets the job done. And K23 start OT2 in winning ways.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only convincing round I recall seeing from K23 in recent times, though. Even going back to regulation, even the first half, I think we didn't have anything that went as clean as a 5-on-1 at any point for really either of the teams. So that's a good sign for K23. Let's see if they can keep that up, though. Double up setup for HEET. They put all of their money nearly into this, though, so losing this could leave them in trouble trying to fight for another overtime. There is a lot on the line. Too crazy, but they are setting themselves up for what is likely going to be the later B split, considering the positions of the players and also the bomb right now. One up close on canals as well.
A little bit of aggression from the CT side, but nothing too spectacular. The two-man mid setup, it's been good to them. Exercise has consistently got a lot of heavy lifting done here. And Maka's there to flash him in to enable him. Rajin, meanwhile, has found the player in E. And through the smoke, Jo has found the second. Another 3-on-5. They couldn't dream of these in OT1. And yet now they seem to come freely. Lucky should have a free frag here, and indeed he does out of E-box. He finds the kill that may well stabilize things, and with 40 seconds left, they've got to make a decision here on K23. They're going to execute into B. The AWP is there, but he is alone at the moment. Or are they? They're way behind their util. They're way behind their smokes, way behind their flashes. Lucky may well have his chance here, playing around the pillar. Inside of this B site, multiple bodies, hits the first, buys his teammates time now on the rotation, but oh, he just needed to buy a few more seconds. Not quite enough. It will be 2-on-3, the retake, as the afterplants are established. Rajin low on HP will be the first man to be tested. But the split between these two players is long, and it's going to take so much time for that AWP to creep his way into any kind of a supportive position. Rajin goes down, and HEETDjoko has no idea. 2 kills in a millisecond. Open this round up for the taking. The bomb inside a mid-site, and Jo still hasn't seen the second player. He's still got to be conscious of every possible angle he hides as Razmo looks to stick it inside the smoke, and it won't connect. Maka next up, but the edge of the smoke betrays them. It doesn't land how they want it, and Jo has a 1v2 to buy his team 20. A 2-round T-side, as once again they stretch HEET to their limits, and it's an economy breaker as well. There will be sacrifices made in the last round of OT2's first half.
Yeah, I mean, crazy. Even held off on taking the initial kill for a moment there, so that there definitely wouldn't be time for the second man to hop onto it after the bomb had been tapped. 20-18. As I had said, with the double up setup in that previous round, Lucky doesn't have enough to even get a rifle here. Maka barely gets his op out. Very little support for the weaponry that they have in play right now. K23 can finish out this half with the flawless T side, which is what HEET themselves fell short of in that previous overtime. I think they've gone from that to now being down pretty heavily. It's going to be upsetting for them.
Yeah, they need something special here with what little they have. Someone has to step up to the plate. Who will be the hero for HEET? They're going to re-aggress into mid. Maka and Exercise to push the issue, knowing they need that control, they need that information. Still a minute on the clock, and this time they've not lost a man yet. They're able to maintain some semblance of control. Force K23 to rethink their options. It's going to have to be another execute, another straight pop, and K23 haven't been the best at these. Heat have had their number more often than not. The timings have not quite been right. It's been rough around the edges, and that opens up chances, especially this deep into a series, this late in OT2. As they plan out their B pop, Rajin tries to fake A, buys what little time, what few rotations he can hold. As the pop comes in, into the B site they head. Rasmo has dealt with the A lurk. Lucky, just a deagle inside of this B site though, and with 2 quick kills, Magnages has opened it. Fast rotation from Maka at the very least, and there might well be a gap in this smoke. Indeed there is. If he can find a timing, half a chance, a shoulder peeking just a little too wide, which he does too. Looks for the third, but he'll finally put down. He's done his job. And as they swarm the site, Rasmo will do his. It's all on to X5. A 1v2. He sprays down 1, but he can't adjust in time. It's 19. Heat, with the limited firepower, with the sacrifices across the board, have bought themselves a lifeline on their CT side of Anubis.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, it was really Maka that found it for them, let's be real. An impossible corner. He had himself in there, and he managed to come away with 2, nearly even a third off of the pre-fire. That would have been crazy. Either way, gave his team what they needed to salvage a small bit from that half there, and just have an opportunity now, if they can come out with a great T side of their own, to still win out this overtime. It's not going to be easy, though. K23 had a pretty solid CT side, and especially now that they'll be coming in with no issues in terms of the money, that faster playstyle that Heat were enjoying playing could be harder to imply, for sure.
I mean, their T side was generally pretty successful in OT1. They had the right ideas. They called straight pops. They called straight site plays.
Yeah, they also started it off really well, though. That was the main thing. After they recovered, I think, that 3-on-5 from the initial round on B, if I remember correctly. Kind of broke, I guess, the confidence of K23, but that seems to have come back now.
It will come back with these kind of results. That kind of a half. I mean, that could have been a 3-round straight T side. Question is, can they keep it going? 2 rounds needed on their CT side to secure the dub, to put Heat down. Heat flawless, and we get Inferno. Let's see how the cookie crumbles. Big decisions to be made. They want the double AWP again on the CT side. K23, Jo once more trusted with secondary responsibilities. What's the call from Heat? Do you keep up the pace that got you here? Do you continue to just try and hit sites early, catch them off guard? Or is a slow waiting game a more apt call, a push and a prod to keep the CTs guessing and catch them on their aggressions? For the time being, it looks a little slower. They're going to boost a man over the top of the smoke, and all Maka. A leg. Not quite the kill he desperately craved, but damage nonetheless, and it's going to force some re-aggression out of this CT side. Pushing into A main is Rajin and I disbalance. The timing is going to be everything, because Magnages has got canals. He can call that B is the initial hit. He can call that this is going to end at B, but it's a matter of timing. And it's a long old rotation they don't want to commit to. It's going to be Jo and Magnages against the world once again. Smoke down B main. Nobody is rotating yet. That lack of mid control is keeping them so damn passive. And that could well be their undoing. They're only just now working their way through CT as the backstab has been started by Rajin. He's working his way back into mid. He's spotted it. 48 seconds. Drops his flash. He knows now surely that this isn't going to be a mid play. It has to be B. Surely it has to be. Or do Heat have another plan in the back pocket as well? They're backing out of the B site hit. And they're working their way into mid-Dean.
Yeah, just try and stick together, trade it out here. They've been effective at that, recovering these tough rounds in the past. Smoke down to allow the split towards B. Well, not really much of a split at this point. Sorry, it's A. They're going through the smoke, I meant. Rajin waiting on the other side. Able to come out with at least 2, but Idis Balance stuck on the bomb site itself. I was going to say, not in the greatest of positions, but with low health, unlucky. He falls back on that pistol. Must have been good communication there. He seemed aware. 21 to 19. It's going to be a swift cleanup from K23, leaving them with only 1 more round now if they want to put the nail in the coffin and finish this 2-0. Been a bit of a longer 2-map series so far, though, for sure.
It's been a trek, but we'll take it. A new map, a new day. We've been thrown in at the deep end as of both of these teams, and it's K23 who are looking to swim, and HEET who are just one round away from sinking to the depths. A huge connector hold in the previous round buys them this one. Buys them 2 opportunities to finish the job. This new look HEET are starting to fall apart, and Rajin is the first one to find the kill. Rasmo, the youngster, he's had a fantastic series, but this is not the round for him. This is the round for the veterans now, as Lucky working his way out towards B. Can't find it. Magnage's low, but not low enough. 2-man advantage. A little bit of a gap, though, as Exercise will find the kill. Lucky started it. Exercise will finish it. Now 4 on 3. And the CTs are turtle between their 2 respective sites. This is where HEET have maybe found their best work. Those site executes into turtling CTs, they have traded brilliantly. And they've got an opportunity to do that now, as K23 are not going to risk anything. They're going to trust in their crossfires. X5 and JO play B. Rajin and I disbalanced. Out towards that A site as the old guard, and the bomb will make its way back around towards this B site. It will be JO and X5 to take first contact. Util goes in. The molly is perfect. 25 seconds. And it cuts the second eye of this flank away. X5 with 1. He's lost his teammate, but the team flash is even better. Rajin deals with Joko, and it's job done. I disbalance swings in, and it will be K23 who take the 2-0. I mean, it went right down to the wire on Anubis. Both of those teams, I think, showed signs, but didn't necessarily have the polished edges. And then at the end, it felt like maybe fatigue set in just a little bit as K23 really accelerated to get it over.
Yeah, that's the sort of game there where I think a third map would have been really, really fun to get to watch as well, especially